Racing to the 2022 Kentucky Derby, and this time we go to Oaklawn Park. It is race number 3 of their 4 prep campaign for the 2022 Kentucky Derby. It is the Rebel Stakes, $1 million purse. It goes as race number 11 at Oaklawn Park. And recent winners include the Bob Baffert trained duo of Concert Tour and Nadell the last couple of years. Man, oh Mandela sent out Omaha Beach 3 years ago. He got injured the week of the Tripper Kentucky Derby, so he wasn't able to run. And then Steve Asmussen also with Long Range Toddy. Todd Pletcher with Magnum Moon back in 2017. He won back-to-back races. He also had Malagacy in 2016. Now we're in the 50-point series. That means it's basically a win and you're in. And the speed figures that it takes to win a race like this is right around that 100 mark. As you can see, we've gone anywhere from 103 to 109. So, you know, not quite up into that 110, 111 range, which is where we're at on the Equibase scale going into that final prep. But let's take a look at this field. It did draw 11 horses, starting with Kavad, who has shown a little bit of a mixed running style. And this was a good claim for $50,000. He won a stakes race right after that claim, then ran in both the Smarty Jones and now running in the Rebel Stakes here. Newgrange shipped in and won the last race in this series, the Smarty Jones, and also we get a couple of other horses out of that race and a couple of horses going up in class in Stellar Tap, who lost to Pioneer of Medina the last time at the fairgrounds, and then Ethereal Road, a winner recently, a sharp winner for D Wayne Lukas. Now, taking a look at some of the other horses in this race, you've got a horse like Barber Road, who's been also competing in this series at this time, and I think he has a potential to show a little bit of speed in the race. Now, the top contenders, I think, on the wagering is going to be Newgrange, Stellar Tap, Ethereal Road, Dash Attack, and Chasing Time. Now, Dash Attack, he won back-to-back races to start off the Oaklawn meet, and then in the last race, did not really get the trip that he wanted. Newgrange, that was kind of a weirdly run race where it looked like a couple of horses were spinning the wheels on the turn. And Ben Diesel's had a couple of interesting trips in this Oaklawn series. 2 races ago, he had the outside post, went to the lead. Then the last race, he made kind of a mid-race move. Looked like he might be able to pull off the victory, but he was run down late by Newgrange. And Newgrange shipped back to California, worked out a couple of times. He's coming back here for the mile and a 16th race. And then Chasing Time, who has 5 races in his career. Last time out, stepped out to a mile distance and really improved, picked up the big runaway victory. One of the things I've noticed over the years is that Oaklawn has sometimes some of these what I call slingshot races where horses will just spin out of that turn and they can just win by 4 or 5 lengths. They seem to have a abnormal number of large runaway victories. We saw it last week with Zozos in that allowance race where he just kind of slingshotted out of the turn and ended up winning by 10. We've seen it in other past years where horses will just kind of open up on the field. It seems to happen more often in some of these bigger prep races at Oaklawn Park, and you kind of have to factor that in. You don't see it as often at the fairgrounds, Gulfstream Park. Maybe it's the quality of the competition. Maybe it's just the way the race shapes up for that particular day. But when I look at some of the speed of this race, I see 3 horses capable of having the lead early. Chasing Time, Ben Diesel, or Kavad. They've all shown the capability to be near the pace. I think in this race, Chasing Time is the most interesting because we saw last week with Epicenter dominating the fairgrounds race that if you are able to set the pace with slow fractions, you have a big advantage. Now, the presser's going to be Stellar Tap and Newgrange. I do want to talk about Stellar Tap. He was a horse that broke his maiden first out at Saratoga. Then he went up in class, had a couple of rough trips. Last time out, he was bet down, but then took on a nice improving horse for Todd Pletcher called Pioneer of Medina. I do think Stellar Tap is sitting in a type of spot that if he ever gets a pace to collapse, he could be able to inherit the lead coming into the turn. I'm not sure he's going to get that in this type of race, but I do think there is a race waiting for him to make his mark. Ethereal Road for D Wayne Lukas broke his maiden with a last to first, 16 lengths out of it the last time, ended up picking up the victory. Now, this race, I think you could go a number of ways. My top selection is going to be Dash Attack. I like the fact that he kind of flattened out in that last race, so he may be ready to move forward a little bit. I'm going to play him in exactas over Ethereal Road and Stellar Tap. You know, you could make the case for Chasing Time, second time routing, 2 turns. Steve Asmussen, going to be near the pace. Horse that I'm kind of against in this spot is Newgrange. I just wasn't impressed with his last race. Overall, his maiden race has been his best race, so he just hasn't progressed in his last 2 races that I like to see as you get closer to that 70-day mark to the Kentucky Derby. So I don't want a short price on a horse that I don't think is improving. I want a horse that maybe can move forward, and those horses in this race are maybe Stellar Tap, Ethereal Road, and Dash Attack. My top selection is going to be Dash Attack here in the Rebel Stakes for 2022. Don't forget, we're going to have a preview of the Honeybee up. We've already got a preview up of the Saudi Cup. On Monday, we took a look at the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. Make sure to watch that video. And then also the Kentucky Oaks leaderboard, as the Honeybee going to be a points race on the road to the Kentucky Oaks. Who do you like in the Rebel Stakes? Ring that bell, hit subscribe as we lead you up to the 2022 Kentucky Derby.